Um, I want to hear about the last mission when we were about to do the signing, when they were about to get the surrender. What was that?
Well, that last week of the war, starting on August 10th, you see, on August 6th, right, the A-bomb was dropped on Hiroshima.
And where was it dropped from? Where did the Enola Gay take off
Well,
from?
the Enola Gay took off from Tinian, and they didn't arm that bomb because the day before they were to take off, there were two planes that crashed on takeoff, and they figured that if there were, as I said, 100,000 men on Tinian, and if that bomb was involved in a crash, it would probably halfway destroy the island, and so they armed the bomb on the way up to to Hiroshima, and so then on the 8th, then Russia finally decided they'd come in, get involved with the war so they could get in on the spoils. On the 9th, they dropped the bomb on Nagasaki, and then the Japanese were trying to make up a mind about accepting the ultimate surrender terms, and Hirohito and the Japanese administrators, the Congress or whatever it is, the way they wanted, but the military wanted to keep fighting. So it was still, we didn't trust them. You know, I mean, they hadn't always done things we expected. So we twice were sent out to go on a mission, and they'd call it off. And then on the 14th, we went up, and we were going to Sendai, which incidentally was where the Little League ball team came from the other day. But if we heard the word Utah, then we would drop our bombs in the water and turn around and come home. The war would be over.
Because the war was over.
And so we went up, and gee, we had all four formations of our 40th Bomb Group were over the target in less than a minute, and 90% of our bombs were within 1,000 feet. That was supposed to be probably as good a bombing as was done in the thing. Then on about an hour after we had dropped our bombs, we came coming home, they said, the war is over.
Were you involved in anything pertaining to the signing of the surrender papers?
I was in on the power display when we flew around and around over, well, we had about 500 B-29s, and we flew up to Japan, and then down in Tokyo Harbor was 50 or 60 Navy ships with the Missouri, where the Japanese would sign the papers for the surrender. And so to make a real impression on the Japanese about how much power we had and how little chance they had of ever winning the war, we flew around in a big circle, and the 500, I think we made three loops over the Missouri.
It sounds pretty effective.
Yeah. The Japanese thought, my God, is it never going to end?
And there were a few missions flown after the surrender, and these were on the...
Well, the first thing we tried to do was to run up to Japan with supplies, and so we...
For what purpose?
For prisoners of war, because there may have been a lot of Red Cross packages mailed to prisoners of war, but they never got any, and they were mistreated and everything. And most, even when they came in about the time of the actual surrender signing and put in hospital ships, some of those poor guys never made it. Now, the supplies were everything, toothpaste or medical supplies mostly, but there was food, and there were a few guys who were so anxious to get to those supplies when they'd be dropped into the camps that they'd actually could be hit and killed by our dropping the supplies. But we also lost 8 airplanes who were delivering supplies, because at the last week of August, Japan, as usual, was all socked in. So here you are trying to find a little hidden POW camp, and they would usually, the prisoners had by this time heard the rumors of the war was about over, so they had painted POW on the rooftops of their camps. And usually they were small because they didn't save too many people, and especially B-29 people were special prisoners.
Well, I know you've been a lifelong historian of that war, and you've written several books and helped with 2 others that I know about.
I've also sent 1,000 pictures in that are on the internet, and I'd like to invite people to, if they have a internet connection, to go to website www.40thbombgroup.org.
Okay, I'm sure that there'll be a lot of people visiting that. And I want to thank you for your contribution to America and all our youngest men who were over there. And
well,
we have a lot of nice Japanese Americans here, but that is part of our history, and theirs as well. Well, thanks again, Harry.
My pleasure.
Thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed the program, please join us again next week. If you would like a tape of the show or would like to be a member of the crew, you can always reach us at the Cupertino Senior Center. Goodbye.